Now you're good, Larry.
Okay, sorry about that. I need to, I was trying to get this thing dialed in, but we're here, and I apologize for that.
Oh, that's okay, Larry. Great to have you back.
Great to be back. Thank you.
Okay, so why don't you share your bullish screen?
Okay. Well, I'm not necessarily bullish, but I'm long. Let's put it
All
that
right,
way.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a
The
change in tone
yeah. Well, you know what? I
since
don't
I've
tend to
been
get
interviewing you.
I don't tend to get bullish or bearish. I just tend to focus more on my positions because I found out.
Okay.
But here's what I saw yesterday in Triple Q.
All right. You need to click the green button, Larry, to get your screen up here.
All right, hold on. Let's get this thing going here. Share
Yeah,
screen.
you're a veteran.
Share
Let's,
screen.
maybe the
How about
rotation's too long. There
how are
you
we
go.
doing now?
We got the cues up.
I'm definitely not going to be hired as your IT director. I can tell you
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but you've been long and right since
Yeah.
I've been talking to you, and one thing I like is you always had some kind of line in the sand with the S&Ps,
Yeah.
and I saw a few times where it almost got to the line but didn't take it out,
Didn't hit
so I
it.
knew it kept you long.
Yep.
I'm wondering where the line is now.
Well, I'm going to get to the S&P in a second, but I want to
Okay.
start with Triple Q,
Okay.
I'll tell you why. What I saw yesterday in Triple Q was a pretty strong reversal. So Triple Q opened yesterday, and you can see my
Yeah.
charts, right?
Yes.
So it opened yesterday down 1%, and there was a pretty early flush, as you remember, in the first half an hour or so, and then they reversed it higher into the close, which was the bullish reversal. But I'll tell you what stood out to me the most, and this is an ETF, ARK-K, that
Yeah. What's her name?
I've got no interest in whatsoever. It's in a pretty big downtrend, and I
Yeah.
avoid downtrends. But what I did see yesterday, if we take a look at this ARK-K chart, this ETF opened down 4.8% yesterday morning. Down 4.8%. It reversed and closed higher, plus 1.5%. So it was a 6.3% intraday reversal. And if you take a look at the volume, it was
Huge.
the highest. It was huge volume. And what I saw is a lot of stocks that I'm not in, okay, because I'm holding the uptrend. But I saw stocks like F.A.C.E, that's been hit pretty hard, but they took that stock down to 96 and closed it at 110. So what's that? A 15% reversal intraday.
So
So
yesterday's lows are very critical.
what I think that we saw yesterday in the near term is I think that
Capitulation.
we saw capitulation yesterday. So on the Triple Q, all that Triple Q did was just a very simple 50% technical retracement. So if we take 350 to 408, right, that's 58
Yeah.
points. 379 is a 50% retracement of that entire move. And that's where it hit on Friday, 378 and change. It's 393. So listen, I'm still long tech. I'm long outside of tech too, but I still think that the tech stocks with earnings. Now, here's a big difference. I do think that with the Fed pivot last week, where they're going to start to probably tighten sooner, what I do think over time is I think that the stocks that make money right now, and it doesn't sound exciting, but I just want to make money. So Apple is a stock that I bought last week on this pullback. And if you take a look at the Apple chart, these charts right here, I mean, this is a strong long-term uptrend, rising moving averages. It's up more again today. But I think that the stocks that are either making money right now, current cash flow, historically, when the Fed starts to tighten, those stocks perform much better than stocks that don't make any current earnings. So if you take a look at Dell, and Dell's another chart. Not everybody focuses on it, but that uptrend, regardless of
Yeah.
what you want to call it, that's one of the best uptrends on the screen. So stuff that I am avoiding. So the ARK ETF, I don't have any interest in the ETF or in a lot of those stocks like Teladoc, Zoom. These stocks have been hit pretty hard. But I do think that by looking at Triple Q, And I think that by looking at the S&P, so what I wanted to see hold was I wanted to see 4,500 hold in the near term, which it did. And now I want to see it get back over 4,650. But here's the thing,
We're
you
right
know,
there now.
yeah. But Dale, I mean, think about it. And like I said, I don't get, I just take positions. I'm not a cheerleader for the long side. I'm not a cheerleader for the short side. My view is just based on what I see on the charts. But what was it? 10 days ago, Black Friday, the Omicron news came out. Powell
Yeah.
came out last Tuesday. And right now the S&P is higher versus both of those things. So they haven't been able to take the
Valid.
market down yet.
But do you think that, this is what I'm hearing even from the bears.
Yep.
Another 5% pullback, new highs into New Year, and then a bigger pullback, and then a melt up to like 53. Even the long-term bears melt up 5,300, 5,400. It's almost like new highs at this point are a layup. Now, if we don't make them by December 20th, I think that there could be a problem if it's a failing rally. I think we'll know
Yeah.
before Christmas, don't you?
It's it's tough to say. I think that the rally that started right now, if they can hold yesterday's lows, a
Yeah.
couple things. So if we take a look, and I'm not a big fan of indicators, but at extremes,
Yeah.
I do take a look at them. So the
God, I
9 month,
read that put volume was off the charts
yeah,
and everything.
CPC went to 115. So the put call, it was the highest since last year. It went to 115. That's
Yeah.
the highest going back to May. VIX hit 35 and change.
Yeah.
That was the highest going back to 35 is the highest going back to,
Yeah.
to what? February of 21. So here's what we ran into. Oversold markets, technical pullback, a lot of negative sentiment. Everybody is convinced that the Fed raising rates, and they haven't even started to taper yet, let alone raise rates. But everybody's convinced that that's a negative. But I published on my Twitter page that the past 4 Fed rate hiking cycles, every time they've raised rates, the markets have gone higher. In 2004, they raised rates 16 times. The market went up over 50%. So I'm not saying that the market is going to go up, but I'm just saying that the traditional view, Fed raises rates and the market goes into the tank.
What
That's
about
actually,
that old expression, 2 hikes and a stumble? Or am I
yeah,
just, do you remember that one?
yeah, I've heard them all, man. I've heard the
I know.
Greenspan briefcase. Remember the Greenspan briefcase indicator? Was it Greenspan or Bernanke?
Yeah. No,
None of that stuff.
Greenspan get the
Yeah,
briefcase.
the
Yeah.
briefcase, and if it was full, yeah, all that stuff is just like, stuff to sit around the fireplace and talk about. The only thing I want to do, I just want to look at what's going on the chart right now,
Okay.
and I'm much more so stock specific and sector specific. So I do see, in the large cap tech, I
How
still like.
about, hey, Larry, I know you love these expressions.
Go ahead.
How about bears feast on Thanksgiving, bulls on Christmas?
There you go. How about bulls feast on bears? I don't know. I don't know the answer. Here's what I can tell you. There's a lot of chart. I'm going to make a lot of people upset, but I'm much more chart specific. So there's a lot of charts that I want to be involved in. So I'll show you some charts so say this CrowdStrike chart. You see, I don't want to be involved in any of that whatsoever. So I'm not just blindly bullish on the tech side. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stocks like C. Listen,
that you'd avoid. You're not bottom picking these. This is not your style. At all.
C is a phenomenal company, right? And I've had positions in C, and I've made money in C, and C is a phenomenal company. But if you take a look at the chart, I recently closed out this position because to me, when I see what the air pocket could be for these stocks that don't make money. So I'm not just, waking up and saying buy everything in tech, at least not for me. But, I'm holding Apple.
Yeah, you have your rules.
Yeah, I want to be in the uptrends.
Right.
And I've got one So I've got one, what I call a high beta stock, which is a little bit more of a, high octane. So I'm holding Roblox, right? And I took a position recently about 120, which is, I think, right about where it is pre-market. But
Yeah.
Roblox is one of the few momentum stocks. They don't have any current earnings, but
It's
it's
a
still
low
holding.
floater, huh?
You see it's still holding over the rising 50-day moving average. So this
Yeah.
is really the only one that I've got right now that's really pretty much high octane, but I'm still holding Nvidia. I just bought some Apple last week, and I just want to stay over the rising 50-day. But outside of tech, there's a lot of stocks that I think look very good. And I know that your listeners, are really diversified across the board. If we look at these energy stocks, right?
Yeah.
Devon Energy. So here's the thing.
It
Crude
gave up
oil,
nothing. It gave up
yeah,
nothing during
nothing.
the
Look at
during the
Chevron.
natural gas got hammered.
Chevron went up. Crude
Yeah.
oil went down 26%.
Yeah.
Chevron's actually higher.
That is really something.
This and this is one of
Because
my
they were
favorite.
underperforming when crude
Yeah.
was skyrocketing, and
Yeah.
they're holding up
And,
after
and
crude corrected.
yeah, and I can't tell you. So crude took a 26% hit from, let's call it, the middle of November. And if you take a look at the Chevron stock from the middle of November, it's higher. And
Yeah.
it's got a 4.5% dividend. A lot of people focus on that, but there's a lot of stocks that here's what I do think.
Was excuse me a second, Larry. One
Yeah.
of our attendees, AMBA was a stock you presented here, right?
Yes.
AMBA.
Yeah.
Because Anthony is validating what a big winner it was.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
about this, I think, the last time. And AMBA, I would still give it the benefit of the doubt over that 50-day. So
Yeah.
so really what my time frame is over the rising 50-day moving average. I'm going to tend to give it the benefit of the doubt to the long side.
Were you tempted on that gap up? I'm assuming it was earnings
No.
to sell when
Well,
something
I didn't
like
have.
that happened.
So I don't have a position in AMBA.
Oh, okay.
So I don't own them all, but I'll often present, whatever I think are best ideas.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I generally hold about 15 positions at a time. But yeah,
and that's your mental max.
Yeah, that's
Right.
about what I can really, stay focused.
Well, that's about 13 better than me.
Yeah.
After two different.
Yeah, and
Anyway,
different time frames, but no, Ambarella was a real big winner on the website. I think AMD made about a 50% retracement. So if we call it 100 to 164, it
Yeah.
retraced about half of it. So these are the stocks right here that I'm looking at. So I did some buying last week on Thursday. I made some test buys. I bought Apple and I bought Pfizer. And what I do think is I do think that the market, if the Fed starts to tighten, and they will, I do think the market is going to start to pay more attention to, valuations.
Yeah.
So, some of these cloud stocks, and I had Snowflake and I booked my gains in it. But this stock, if you see, it pulled back like 25%,
Yeah.
once there are, I don't know, 80 or 90 times sales
Yeah.
and no earnings. And historically, when the Fed starts to tighten, these stocks with no current earnings come under some pressure. So in tech,
How about all the EV stocks that have saying they're going to be the next Tesla, and they haven't even made an EV yet.
Yeah, so I'm holding Tesla. I think that the other two. So I had Lucid was on our buy list for about 8 or 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything with Rivian. I'm not a big fan personally of stocks with no revenues whatsoever. So I think that those are just pure technical trades. But I haven't put Lucid back on the buy list in a couple weeks, and I'm not sure if I will.
Okay. All right. You seen anything? Let me ask you this, Larry. The dollar's been real strong this year.
Very
If
strong.
the dollar weakened, would it point your eye towards anything different in the market if the dollar shifted trends from, what started becoming debased again and weakening?
I wouldn't look so much at the dollars. I would just look to see what the charts are doing. So I don't,
Okay,
the
yeah, all
dollar is
right.
very strong right now.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I haven't really seen any correlation because the dollar's strong, but the energy stocks, they're near the
Yeah,
highs.
I
You look at
haven't
Chevron.
either. I mean,
Yeah,
they said a year ago a strong dollar would crater the market, but the
right.
dollar's been strong all year,
There,
and market did fine.
you know what it is, Dale? I think in the past 18 months, we've all had to rethink what we used to think. A lot of the rules or the general guidelines, and QE obviously has had a big effect. But when I look at the gold miners, and I know you've got a lot of members that look at the gold miners. I posted this AU chart this weekend for
Yeah,
the members, and this to me is very bullish. So it came over the 200-day. The
yeah,
200-day is starting to flatten out. The 50 and the 20-day. So the GDX chart is very difficult, but AU is
yeah,
setting up well. GFI has
yeah.
been very
Goldfields,
strong.
I know that's been holding up pretty
Very,
good.
I mean, look at where it is. And then if
Yeah,
you take a look at GDX, so that's why even though GDX hasn't been able to really get going, I dial more into these single stocks, and the GFI chart is set up
yeah,
very well.
yeah. It really has.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
it's
for
you look for relative strength leaders.
absolutely
First, you look for relative strength in sectors, and then you go to the relative strength in the sector.
right, right.
Yeah,
And look at
good.
healthcare.
Yeah,
AbbVie
yeah,
starting to break out. Abbott, ABT,
yeah,
that's starting to break out. Pfizer, I just took some Pfizer. Now, Pfizer is going to be volatile, based on the travel news. So if travel
yeah.
news is good, Pfizer pulls back. But this whole healthcare sector, I think that's a sector that people need to have an eye on, because these charts are starting to break out here.
Okay.
Home builders, give you one more.
All right.
Lennar, that made a new high last week. ITB, that's starting to break out, and look at the volume that's coming over. So ITB, so when the markets got hit pretty hard last week, ITB was up, I think, 2 or 2.5% last
Because
week.
yields dropped.
DR Horton, yep,
Yeah,
could be DR
yeah,
Horton. And then if you
yeah,
take a look, Sherwin Williams. So this whole home construction and home improvement group. So you know what I do, Dale? I don't pay attention to top calls and bottom calls and this,
yeah,
that, and the other thing. I just look at the charts, and the
yeah.
charts that are strong, that's where I want to focus. And when charts start to break down, then I get out of the way.
Mr. Price Action, Larry Tentarelli. You like that? Mr. Price Action.
I like that. That's very nice of you.
Because that's that's it. That's the holy grail. People search for it, and you know you have the discipline to just stick to it and keep the blinders on and earplugs on for all the
Dale,
noise out there.
in 2018, you probably remember in Q4, I was max short, triple Q, crude oil, NVIDIA. I went to cash
Yeah,
in late February. So I don't get anchored. I'm not a perma bull,
yeah,
at all. But as long as the charts, when I look at these 20 charts that you and I just took a look at, as long as these charts continue to now, triple Q came under a little bit of a pullback, but guess what? It had a 15% run in 7 weeks. When an index moves
yeah,
15%, it's got to pull back. Now, if for some reason, if these rallies start to fail, if triple Q takes out this recent low, if the strong stocks start to roll over, then I'll be the first one to say, that should not, the rally should have held. And I move quickly. I've got extra cash. I've got more cash. I think I'm right about 30% cash right now, which is higher than usual. But I took a lot of profits in November. I sold a firm and I sold Snowflake, and I took
put
some money in these stocks.
put
And
Apple up there again before you go.
that's
I
a
just
chart.
want to show you something.
Yeah.
I know you won't pay attention to it, but it's a formation that I've taught for years. I learned it in the 70s from J.R. Hill. It's called the 3 drive to a top formation. And, I pair it with RSI, but Apple has 2 right now. You see that the first one at 65 and the one at 70, and a new high at say 75 will complete the formation. So that's all I'm saying, that it could be completing. up
Yeah,
there.
I've got you. And we never know, what can happen. When I take a look at the Apple weekly chart, it shows me it's really just starting to break out of this longer
Yeah.
term base. Weekly MACD's crossed higher, but what I always want to do is just react to what's going on. So right now,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
yesterday
You
was,
got to be long.
yeah,
We have to see, that's what I
in
mean.
these charts,
Yeah.
in these charts, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be buying puts up there.
I
So,
got you. You might be
you
right.
know, yeah, that's what I do. I look for inflection points, and let me tell you, it's a tougher way to go than being a trend trader in a prolific bull market, the most prolific bull market in the history of mankind.
And there,
So,
there's a lot of weak charts that are out there. Some of these momentum stocks that are, like Roku and Square and all
yeah,
that stuff,
God, they've
those,
gotten obliterated.
and those are, I don't want to be I sold Roku. I think I sold Roku in the mid 300s a while ago. So
Yeah,
it's not, you can't just close your eyes and throw a dart and just
yeah,
buy any stock, because a lot of these stocks are real, and these are a lot of, big favorites online like Pinterest and Snapchat and all that stuff. So
yeah.
I think that you really have to focus on the risk, but
Under
I
the
would,
surface, there's been a lot of negative breath.
horrible. There's all, but here's the thing: the market is not Teladoc and Square. Teladoc's a $15 billion
Yeah,
market cap.
yeah.
That's not the market. So when people think, oh, Teladoc and ARK and all that, that's not,
No, the
the market.
market is at four stocks.
No,
Or
well,
40%,
no, I
40%
mean,
of the market.
we just looked at home builders and Chevron and drug makers.
I know.
Yeah, there's all kind. So, but to me, the market, and it might sound like a cliche, but it's really, it's the individual stocks. I don't care
Yeah,
what the
it's a
index
market of
does.
stocks.
Listen, if the index goes straight up and all my positions go down, what does it matter? Vice versa. So I'm
Yeah,
now if the market unwinds, it takes a lot of stocks with it. But I'm much more dialed in on these stocks that you and I looked at. Last week it was a bad week in the market. 297 large caps were up on the week. So I mean it,
yeah.
there's a lot of strength under the surface out there, and there's a lot
All
of
right.
weakness. You got to be specific.
Yeah. Well, Larry, I always appreciate you coming, and I think you remind everyone of how they should be approaching markets, talking about not paying attention to anything but price action, and what markets have to do to keep you long, and when to get out of the way when that's not happening anymore. So,
Absolutely. Yep.
yeah, you're a pro.
Thank you,
You're a
Dale.
pro, buddy. You could follow Larry on Twitter at LMT978, and you could go to his website. You want to show your website, Larry?
Yeah, that's bluechipdaily.com.
Okay.
So,
And
I thought I had myself there, but it's Blue Chip Daily,
that was the blue chip spa in Chicago. I've never been there.
bluechipdaily.com. There we go.
There it is.
So, yeah,
Okay.
bluechipdaily.com.
Okay. So you have a letter. You have a lot. Okay.
Yeah, they can go on there, and just if you scroll through, it'll show, about 2 years since I started the website, just of, chart ideas, recommendations, what the technical process is, things like that.
Larry, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Dale, you too, my friend.
I hope you have a great winter trading season. It's coming up here in a few weeks, and appreciate you coming and sharing your ideas, having a giving spirit, and we'll get back together next spring.
You too, Dale. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you and all your listeners have a great holidays.
They enjoyed you very much, Larry. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, my trading warrior brother, Larry, price action, Tentarelli. So,
Dale, have a good one. I'm going to hit the stop share.
all right, buddy.
All right, my
So,
friend. Have a
all
great
right,
one.
you too. So, everyone, that's it for me for Turnaround Tuesday. You could join the crew in 17 minutes for Morning Edge. Take advantage of what Blake talked about. Get involved with the community. Thank you, Galaxy. Surround yourself with traders better than you. And more than that, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. You're welcome, Laura. See everyone tomorrow.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.